Hello. All right, let's all give out. Go ahead, do it. I know you want to. There it is. What is stress? It's kind of like a dumb question, isn't it? We all know what stress is. We experience it on the daily through work, family, traffic. Yes. Stress, the way we respond to it, it's all thanks to our amygdala, our fight or flight. And I'm sure you heard a million times it was put in us as a good thing so we could take on a lion or spearfish for dinner. Yet instead, today, we end up using it while standing in a long line at the grocery store. We are a society that is so addicted to stress. We stress over everything. I stressed over the title of this. You'll get to that, okay? Yeah, we'll get to that one. But we stress over our appearance. We stress over our relationships. We stress even when there's nothing to stress about. Oh my God, things are going so good. When's the other shoe gonna drop? Well, if you hear anything from me today, please hear this. There's no footwear in the equation, okay? Life, it's gonna wax and it's gonna wane. And what you really need to learn how to do is absorb those good times and tuck and roll with the punches of the bad, because they're both gonna happen. So, how do you handle stress? That's a big question. Now you could say, everybody handles stress differently, Tia. Well, there is truth in that. But there are actually two distinct types of stressors out there. And some teeter every now and then, but you favor one kind of stress more often. So we're gonna start out with the frazzler. Yes, we all know that one person, or you might even be that person, totally judge-free. But you get frazzled over everything. And not only that, these fine folks have the ability to frazzle everyone else around them. Okay, for instance, it was a bad day at work, you got into it with your boss, you get stuck in traffic, you're starving, your parents called for the third time saying somehow they deprogrammed the Fire Stick once again. Yeah, these are all stressful things. But as a frazzler, you need to zero in on someone else sharing your pain with you, okay? So you'll find somebody and you will tell them every painful detail of your day. And by the time you're done, the other person feels like they had an aerobic workout. So the other type of stressor out there is the silent stressor. As you can see, this is where I stressed out. You're welcome, grammar aficionados. Sadly, silent stressors, these are my people. Yes, we appear to be carefree, laid back, we smile a lot, we constantly use the word whatever, not to be confused with whatever. No, it's more like whatever. Yeah, silent stressors, they suffer in silence. But unlike the frazzler, who needs everyone else to suffer with them, yeah, that's kind of what happens. So then we get to pandemic stress. We all felt that one, right? It doesn't matter whether you're a silent stressor or a frazzler. The pandemic caused a lot around the world. And basically what we were feeling was everything all at once. And a lot of people were kind of forced to be silent stressors. So look at it this way. The world stopped turning one day. People lost their jobs, their homes. Some people lost family members. And then other people, they lost all human contact altogether. These are major stressors. Then, not to mention, what do you do with yourself all day? So a lot of people turn to the news, like that was a good idea. Yeah, first you hear, wear a mask, stay 6 feet away. Next day you hear, don't wear a mask, just don't pick your nose. Then you hear, it's okay to pick your nose, you just gotta sing happy birthday when you wash your hands. Just don't pick anybody else's nose. Whatever you do, don't pick anyone else's nose. It's just not appropriate, okay? So the pandemic, it caused us to kind of turn inward. So when our regular programs came back, we were like, all right, let's check this out. Nothing but problem after problem, okay? We don't work that way. We need resolution. And when there is no resolution, we don't know what to do. We just got to turn it off. So a lot of us found the beauty of binge watching. That was great. And then you're in your comfort zone, you're escaping, and 3 hours go by and it reminds you, are you still there? Thank you. Thank you for reminding me that I'm watching this tiger nightmare instead of being proactive with my life. Stress. It's tough. And do you know that it caused a lot more illnesses other than COVID during this pandemic? What is the number one illness caused by stress? Anybody? Heart failure. Oh, yes. So, little ironic story here. I was having heart palpitations, so my family doctor decides to send me to the cardiologist. And I'm sitting there, and this young doctor walks in, and he was like, "Hey, you're in the wrong room. We're doing interviews down the hall." I said, "Hey, no, I'm your new patient." And we had a laugh, but I ended up being the one shocked as I left that office. Turns out I had a heart attack. Doesn't know when, because here's a fun fact. Doctors know when you are having a heart attack and if you had a heart attack, but they cannot tell you when. So, the long and the short of the story is I have to live a heart-healthy life now, and I have to eat right, and I have to eliminate as much stress as possible. So, I do a TED Talk. So, what other illnesses are brought on by stress that nobody ever thinks of until it happens? Well, we got weight disorders, mental disorders, blood disorders, thyroid, autoimmune, not to mention hair loss, sleep disturbances, adrenal fatigue. That is just to name a few of the things that stress can cause. Stress is bad. All right, so it is bad for the heart, it is bad for the body, but it is also bad for the mind. And I like to call it a fragile mind, because that does not mean that you are weak. In no way does a fragile mind mean that you are weak. Fragile mind comes on from stress that is either life-altering or life-threatening, and it can result in things like compulsion, PTSD, phobias. That's major, man. But, again, this does not mean that you are weak. Take a vase or a vase, for example, right? It's labeled as fragile, but that's not true. A vase has purpose. It is beautiful and it is strong. It can hold pounds and pounds of water and dozens of flowers. The only time it is weak is when it is being moved or targeted. So just like with a fragile mind, you've got to be self-caring, cautious. You got to talk to a doctor, and you got to proceed, because you will be sturdy once again. That is the truth. All right? So, as we talk about what can we do to eliminate stress, it is possible, believe it or not. And we all know the blanket ones. It's sleep, eat right, meditation, exercise. That's what we hear, right? But this is where it's important to know what kind of stressor you are. Because how often do you see a frazzler meditating? Really? I mean, come on, they just go, right? And what about a silent stressor? All they do is meditate on their problems. So, if you are a frazzler, you need to focus on meditation. 4 minutes a day can change your life. It has been proven. You don't know how to meditate? Well, I know. They say there's no wrong way to meditate, but I always tell people, I'm like, start out with music or prayer, whatever gets you to sit with yourself for 4 minutes a day. All right? Think before you share. That's a big one for the frazzlers. We love you. We do. But before you stress vomit on everybody, I think it's best to take a deep breath, think logically about what is going on, and then share the cliff notes. Why not? Just little cliff notes. All right? Then take the emotion out of it, because this is important. Again, we love you. We love your big emotion. But the world is not against you. If you have ever been in a vehicle, you know what traffic is, okay? The world is not out to get you. And just remember that. It'll help eliminate some of that stress. Now, if you are a silent stressor, it's kind of the opposite. What you're going to want to do is get physical. That's right. And what I mean by that is that you have all this pinned up energy going on inside of you, and you need to let it out. So why not take it out at the gym, or take it out on a sidewalk, go for a run. Now, this is a big one, the next one for a silent stressor. You need to learn how to share, okay? That is so important. It has been proven. The only way to get over a PTSD or a phobia is to start talking about it. It is going to be the hardest thing you've ever had to do in your life. I promise you, it really will be. But learn to share, and that will help start to eliminate that stress. And then get emotional. Stop saying whatever. Tell us how you feel. That makes me happy. That makes me sad. Give it a label, because nobody can guess what you're thinking when you say whatever, right? All right. The most important thing, whether you are a silent stressor or a frazzler, is to practice self-care. Self-care is something that a lot of us lack nowadays. We live in a society that tells us just give and give and give until you have no more. I mean, how many times have you heard your boss say, well, can't you just work late again tonight? Look, you need to take time to regenerate that supply, okay? Because we want to give. Remember, being kind to ourselves allows us to be kinder to others. Now, I don't mean take a me day and go on a shopping spree. I'm saying take a me day and take a bath, read a book, eat all your favorite foods for the day and not worry about anybody else. It's all about looking inward and resupplying yourself, because if you have nothing to give anybody else, you're going to break. That is a fact. And just think about it. You could do just a few simple things to make such a difference in your life by eliminating or even just downgrading stress, taking the negative out of stress and taking it back to a good thing where we could take on that lion. It would be amazing. And just imagine how good you will feel inside and out if you can eliminate the stress in your life. Thank you.